Hello, I'm Jaron Snodgrass, and welcome to Primordia, a rough game prototype that I developed for IMS 213. So Primordia is a 3D platformer, and the basic goals are to collect treasure, reach the end, and avoid obstacles all within a set time limit of 1 minute and 30 seconds. The first hazard we have is the crocodile pool. We need to jump over these pillars in order to make it to the other side safely. Here we have a lava pit, and to bring that platform over to us, we need to step on the pressure plate here, and that will start the platform's movement and allow us to get across. Getting this mechanic to work in the blueprints was definitely a challenge, but it was well worth its final result, which I'm very pleased with. And here we have the alternating spike walls, which we have to carefully avoid. Timing is key here in order to jump at the right time and make sure we don't get impaled. One last jump, and grabbing the crystal skull will result in a successful game completion. My biggest inspiration for this prototype was definitely Crash Bandicoot, which I largely consider to be the blueprint for all modern 3D platformers. As a result, my prototype follows a pretty similar gameplay flow, and that's platforming through a 3D environment and collecting objects as you move along. I could not for the life of me get the lava material here to stop blinking. I'm not quite sure what the issue is with that. But this is of course a very rough prototype, and it still serves its purpose in terms of gameplay. These spike walls are definitely fun to implement. Using and messing with the timeline function in the blueprints was especially fun in order to get the spikes to move in this very rhythmic pattern and sort of, create this consistency. Alright, now that we've seen a couple of wins, let's see some losses in the level. So there is actually an invisible wall here in the player start area so that you can't move out of bounds, and it will incentivize the player to move forward into the actual level. Jumping into the croc pool here will in fact kill you and result in a game over, as you can see here. And going back through here, we of course have our lava pit, and if the player decides to get a little overzealous and jump right into it, it will in fact kill them and result in another game over screen. I felt that incorporating functional hazards really elevated the gameplay even just for the prototype, since it incentivizes actual engagement with the mechanics instead of just trying to sort of, muscle your way through, especially in the lava pit sequence where, you cannot move forward unless you use the pressure plate. And here we have our spike walls, and touching the points at the top will instantly, you guessed it, kill the player. And it gives a nice ragdoll effect as well, courtesy of the blueprint functions where I modified the BP third-person character. Incorporating these hazards was fairly simple. Essentially, once the third-person character makes contact with the hitbox embedded in these objects, it results in a death and takes you to the game over screen. And the last hazard, and the least obvious one, is this little pit right before the jump to the crystal skull. Of course, if you fall into this pit, you will die and get another game over. So that was the prototype, but of course there is still the credits page, and here's where I list my playtesters and the sources for all of the assets that I used for this prototype. So that was Primordia. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is Jaren Snodgrass, now signing off.